Hello again, viewers, and greetings, fellow space travelers. This is Thorn of Night, and welcome to another video on the Refuge. And I am stuck out here on the residential rise, or what will become the residential rise, because I just recently finished chopping down the trees. And if you're wondering why I'm up here, I had this cute little idea of doing some sort of intro with the sun coming up and doing the shaders, and then I realized that's just too much of a hassle. So instead, I'm just going to be up here doing my customary intro. But I am preparing to watch a cow walk sideways. Interesting. Anyway, cow distraction. I am on the top of this pillar either way because I just kind of got stuck out here in the middle of the night, and I'm also being watched by a spectator of Little Cuddles. You may have seen it's grayed out there in the tab menu. Uh, but I am done clearing out the trees that are going to be cleared out to prepare for making this into rise number 3. And I was just getting ready to start actually building the rise, but I decided I wanted to do something else entirely because at the end of the previous video I had alluded to some work that's being done elsewhere. And wouldn't you know it, there's the sunrise anyway. So I'm going to go back to spawn, let the lag clear a little bit, and then I'm going to give you a walk around to see the beginning of what I have the idea for the NPC and quest villages for when I get those plugins set up. So I'll warp, let everything settle, and I'll be right back. I'm greeted over here by Little Cuddles, who is no longer all grayed out on the tab menu. Bah! And she did not know she had that on. She got a skull from killing a skeleton. She didn't know she was wearing it, and so she was surprised, as I was, to find out that she was wearing a skull head. Anyway, this is just the spawn. You're familiar with the spawn, my little floaty enchanty area that I still have yet to decide if I'm going to leave it there. Ooh, I'm going off at an angle, or move it a bit. I have decided that there, the custom enchant shop, is going to be relocated over to where the rest of the village is, and it's going to be the odd duck, but it's going to have to be over here. Now, I went ahead and extended the road. It terminated basically right here. So I went through and, using some fun commands, I went ahead and made a nice little path that comes over this way. And we'll be coming up on some of the other things that I've been doing here in a bit, but uh, one of the things that I wanted to do with this area is have the chest or sign shops or whatever, so that people can get resources without having to continually harvest them over and over again if they don't really want to, as long as they have money. But I'm going to make them really, really, really cheap. Like, for instance, 2 cents for cobblestone to buy it and 1 cent to sell it, that sort of thing. It's going to be just really cheap for everything except for a lot of the really high-end stuff. But I'm still juggling the prices. Now, I have decided that the road isn't going to just be these materials. I'm going to add some slabs and some buttons here and there and make it look a little bit more rough, but still road-like. But you can see that there is a custom tree here. I have added a little bit of fall or autumn or whatever you want to call it to my design, And the tree itself has a bunch of different orange and dark yellow blocks on it, but also on the ground there are several other of the wool blocks and sandstone and other things to mimic the appearance of fallen leaves. Also, if you look over here, I have a prototype for the style of house or shop or whatever that I want to have over in this area. And it's just this little cottage thing. It's not furnished right now. It's just going to be something modest. Just a little prototype template of a house. I have used brown stained glass. Oops, that's not going to work. Brown stained glass in the windows, and other than that, nothing really terribly fancy going on here. Just a fairly simple design with some other textures to bring it out. And I don't want to over detail these. I mean, I probably could get lost in detailing them, but I don't like to spend all my time on the details. Just some basic stuff. A little chimney with some smoke up there. And you can see over here some more of these fall leaves, and I'm having, I guess, let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about 10 or so blocks away from the base of each trunk, I have covered the grass, or replaced the grass rather, with these leaves to make it look like fall is here. And it's probably just going to be in this area that the fall motif is located. And this is going to be, this whole plains area here is going to be converted into some sort of little town. And I may even have some quests over here as well. Actually, very probably will. One of them will be to tell people to go the other way from spawn. And why am I just wandering around on the ground? Here, let's look at the road from above. Da, 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 da. I walked that and did it manually. I didn't just make little diagonal things or anything like that. I just wandered and made a sort of path where I wanted to wander. And that's what's going on here. Now, from right about there, I'm going to have the next road connect over there. But over here on the opposite side, doop, 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 this has been here this whole time. There's been another fork that goes off this way. Now, I didn't exactly know what I wanted to have going on over here. I knew I wanted to have quests over here and shops over there, and maybe 1 or 2 shops here and 1 or 2 quests over there. But something glorious happened over in this direction. The Stronghold is that way. Oh, and now the terrain is loading. So, what I'm going to be doing is I will have this road continue and connect all the way over to where the Stronghold is. And then, along the side of the road, there are going to be quests. Go here, do this, pick these up, bring me some of these things. And it's, if I can, here's the thing. I have several different plugins that I'm trying to fiddle with. One is Quest World 2, I believe it's called, and it uses this quest book, and I can do all the setups for the actual quests, except even I don't have permission to initiate the first quest, and I can't figure out why. I'm having a really hard time with these permissions things. So, until I can get that figured out, I'm going to have to go a different avenue. So I'm thinking of having a mix in the future if I can get both to work, but at least for right now, I'm having a little bit better luck with the NPCs, and I forget which one it is. It's basically you have these villagers and you give them custom interactions, and they stay put, and they can't be killed and that sort of thing. I'm going to have them be the quest givers, and then the book, if I can get it to work, I will implement that as a secondary means of doing some quests. But the end result of traveling down this road will be to access the Stronghold. and gain access to the end. There will probably, well, there will very definitely be a warp sign directly to the end, but for actually getting to the Stronghold, I want it to be an actual journey. I want people to start at spawn and discover where it is on their own. But the road is not done yet. I have to figure out exactly how I want it to be laid out. I had to design it around the terrain and change some of the terrain around it. And as I'm going, I'm coming up with these interesting ideas for additional side quests and things like that. But for right now, I have a bigger project in mind. And I'm going to take you there after I teleport and deal with some lag. So I'll be right back. I have transported myself all the way over here to the end portal, or to the stronghold, rather, to show you the end portal room, or rather what's left of it. We had someone do something they shouldn't have done, and as it turns out, I was going to slightly modify the room, but now it looks like I had to give the room an overhaul. We are here at the Stronghold. By we, I mean me and this creeper and somewhere's little Cuddles. There she is. Hello. And I have gone through the trouble of removing all the stone around the Stronghold because I have an interesting plan for the whole entire structure. But I think a little bit of modifications need to happen in and around the area before they get fully implemented. One thing that I'm going to do, obviously, is not have this end stone floor, or this end stone, this bedrock floor in place. I'm going to add one more layer of floor to it, probably using commands. But uh, the ores and things that are still left up here, I'm going to have to be careful with how I remove them because above my head is the ocean. That's right, just a few blocks above this stone, there is tons and tons of water just waiting to come washing down in one single mistake. So I'm going to have to work my design around carefully. I've never actually looked at an end portal from below. It doesn't actually really look like anything except particles. You get this at the top, which it doesn't matter where your perspective is, that stays put. That's so cool. It doesn't matter if you get close either. It doesn't zoom or scale. It's just it stays put. Neat. But anyway, this room is going to be getting slightly pushed out a little, maybe at the base even more so. Also, where's that lava that I just saw somewhere over here? There we go. This is obviously a ravine, but this is a pretty sizable ravine. So I'm thinking of extending this out to be a river of lava that just flows under and past this part of the stronghold. Maybe have a little opening here so people can see the lava river going past. And I'll just have it come back out over here. Oh, there are obviously some slime chunks down here too. But one of the other things I want to do with this, along with the overhaul for the room, I guess this is good enough to call it a room, design, is I'm going to be upgrading the stronghold itself. I'm going to be, well, first off, making it more visible from all the side angles. Then I'm going to have supports built down into the ground so that it isn't just a floating structure that looks like a mess. I'm going to clean up all these remaining floaty blocks that are left over from all of the clearing out and all that. It's going to be much more pristine, but then I'm going to also be modifying the building itself. I'm going to be leaving the rooms where they are. It's just the walls are going to get slightly modified. I'm going to be adding some windows, some nice outside decorations, so that if you're looking out a window here, you can see more decorations in the other windows and or the other rooms of the rest of the stronghold. Boop. Poor creeper. But then I'm going to be having a bit of a curtain of water going all the way around the outside of this place. And then on top of that, or beside that, I guess, I'm going to have, oh, and just in case you're curious, the extent of this uh, Forerunner tunnel, this it goes down to here. It goes up to the top of the stairs, and there's nothing at the top of the stairs. That's the end right there. And then it goes to here. This is the entirety of this whole tunnel is a cave spider spawner. That's it. That's all there is to it. All she wrote. Uh, I, I, I suspect that I would be getting asked about that. So went ahead and nipped that in the bud. So basically, I've got the Stronghold that's getting a little bit of an overhaul, some supports, some windows, some other decorations. Not too much time spent, but enough to actually spruce it up a bit. I don't want to make it this epic thing. I mean, it's already an epic project because of just the enormity of the building and the convoluted way in which it connects. And it is all interconnected. There is no straggler room. Everything connects to everything else. You can literally get from every room to every other room eventually. Now, some of these rooms like this, I'm going to carry some stairs down to connect to this room. So there's a little bit of fixing that is also going to need to happen, but it'll work out. As a matter of fact, the reason why we know that this room exists is because someone, I have entered their way down and just dug this flight of stairs down to this room here, ta-da, and found the Stronghold. This was not my doing. This was someone else on the server, someone more adventurous than me, because I've been doing Refuge to Regent and a bunch of the other back-end server stuff. So, when I say that this is covered by an ocean, I want you to fully understand, or more fully understand what I'm talking about. Let's see here. GMSP? Yes? Yes. Right here is what is very probably going to be getting turned into a volcano. An outjut of land that just comes out to there into this peak that goes above the cloud layer level. There's a little bit of land over there, and there's some land over there, but for the most part, the entirety of the stronghold, if I come down here, is under the ocean. You can see it coming over this way. Let's see here. If I get over to this part here, you can see that even the end portal itself is still under the water. So here's my plan. What I'm going to do is turn all of the gravel, because now oceans are all floored by gravel. I know it's hard to see, but I am in gravel right now. It's probably impossible to see on YouTube because YouTube is so dark. I know. GMC. Let's give myself a splash potion of night vision. Night vision. And then do this. And then go boop. There we go. And then GMSP. Let's see if that works. Come up here. Oh, that's a lot better. Gravel. Gravel, gravel, gravel everywhere. Except in a couple places where I accidentally over dug. Like I did some silly stuff under there with my tools. Because I didn't realize when I was doing this that right here, for instance, was ocean right there. So I was just flying around, just merrily going, da da da, remove the stone, remove the stone, remove the stone, da 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 da, water. So water came rushing in. I had to do some quick fixing and all that kind of stuff. So there's a little bit of extra work that I need to do. But what I'm going to do is take this whole area, figure out exactly where all the extremities of this chamber are going to be. And then replace all of the gravel with like glass at first. And then all of that glass is going to get normalized into a view of the whole area under the ocean here. And when you're not in the water, you can see a lot farther through the water. So I'm going to have this underwater sort of mystical world with giant kelp coming up with leaf blocks and things like that to really add to the ambiance of it. But there's, as you can see, if I come out here, the size of this room is nothing to sneeze at. And the end portal itself just so happens to be right under this little bit of land here. Oops, and it's storming. And wouldn't you know, this land connects directly without having to do any real tricky hanky-panky. I can get from here, walking across land, all the way to spawn. So that's what I'm going to be doing, is I will have a road that comes up to right about here. Like, I'll be doing something maybe with this little shelf here, because it's already cleared. I might as well have like a structure here, like a stronghold of some sort, like an above ground stronghold, and have some quests. And then I will have the road actually go under the ground, and then it's just going to work its way down this way and come straight in over to here. And then the room around the end portal is going to be larger and more accommodating for people to come and visit. So that is ultimately the brunt of the plan. There's a lot of stuff that's going to happen between now and then, but I just wanted to go over what's going on here and what the general plan is. I don't know how much I'm going to be getting done today, but for sure there is going to be a lot of work happening. So I'm going to see what I can accomplish right now. It's probably going to mostly be doing the floor, rounding out the room a bit more, getting rid of some of the extraneous floaty stuff, probably pushing out the walls a little bit more. Thanks, Storm. Thanks. And then we'll see where that leaves me. But for right now, I'm going to get to work. I'll be back. Alright, so fast forward about 1,000,000 hours into the future, and I'm right back here where I came into the Stronghold at, well, roughly. And I just want to kind of creep up on it, so it's sort of a bit of a surprise. The first stage, oh, I see the cuddles. Here we have the first step, well, I guess the first and second step of the post clear out tidying. First off, we've begun placing the columns to support the actual stronghold. I'm going to be making these beefier and more embellished. Don't worry, they're not just going to be these spindly things. Also, you may have noticed there's a bunch of lava everywhere. And you may have also noticed I have slightly modified the room. There is, instead of the normal assortment of stone and other stuff, there is granite and diorite, and there's sea lanterns in with the diorite and glowstone in with the granite, and it kind of mixes together, granite in the ceiling. Now, the reason why I've done this is I said that I'm going to be making this have a glass roof view sort of thing of the bottom of the ocean. That's still going to be the case. I just needed to get the remaining blocks in place so that when I clear this out and make room for the subaquatic view, it has some sort of cohesion. It goes from the bottom to the top, and then somewhere it will have a sort of cutoff point, and that cutoff point may end up with a whole bunch of granite in with the diorite. It may end up in the diorite itself, but I wanted there to be some sort of almost organic flow. I am probably going to do a little bit of replacing down here, add maybe, I don't know, 5% granite to, or diorite to the solid granite that's down here, just to bring that down a little bit more. Now, I'm also going to be having, wherever it seems fitting, I'm going to be having some andesite spikes coming down as supports for the parts that are under land. And you'll see that in the future. Obviously, I haven't cleared all that stuff out yet. And also, this is very jagged. I have not smoothed this out yet at all. I just went through and did some replacing and then a little bit of work, well, a lot of work down here to make the water or the lava wall. And then this little gap here is going to be where a curtain of water is going to exist. It'll come all the way up. It may connect to the bottom of the ocean in some of the spots. It may be deliberately dropped below. I have not yet decided. Either way, that'll be something buried up there, and it won't really necessarily be visual, some sort of thing to look at, because I'm not going to really have a lot of access. There will probably be in the wall here a walk around so that you can see all of the Stronghold through the water curtain. And the windows you'll be able to see a little bit up, but it's not going to be something that's going to be visually necessary for tidying up. But I am going to turn these instead of in the 90-degree sharp edges that there are already. I'm going to turn them into nice slopes. I need to get rid of some other gravel and stuff. Just a little tidying up and smoothing out here. Then, once that is done, I will begin work on transforming the actual roof into the see-through glass top and possibly make it have some sort of color transition so it gets clearer up towards the top center. I haven't fully decided. Like, what I mean is maybe use dark gray glass out this way, and then light gray glass, and then white glass, and then in the top quarter, the center bit, wherever that ends up being, whether it's over here or more than likely over here somewhere, maybe up above this spot, have it be just actual clear glass. I'm not going to use panes, I'm going to use the glass blocks. That way there aren't the holes for things to fall through. But I think this is a good enough stop-off point, or cut-off point, stop-off point. I know words, I swear I do. For this project, I have been staring at this long enough. I'm going googly-eyed. I want to move on to something else. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap up here. Thank you very much for watching. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, please feel free to leave a message in the comment section below, and I will be more than happy to answer any questions you may have. If you like this video and you like what we're doing here, please feel free to give a like. I do appreciate it, and it does help. And if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe so you know when my future stuff comes out. But I'm going to get out of here and get out of your hair. Oh, there's Cuddles again. She's been helping me immensely with this project. We're going to get out of your hair now. This is Thorn of Night and Little Cuddles. And I will talk to you later.